Monday, May 12th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. Great to have you here as always. Brought to you by Ike Sandwiches, our good friends at the Dubliner. We'll get to all that in just a little bit because, again, great day to order a sandwich and have a great beer. You might have to drown some sorrows with the Warriors tonight, or maybe celebrating a they're back alive win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's where we're starting today. Welcome. Just did a whole bunch of football with Kruger for a little wake up. That video is available for you should you need it. Right now, though, I got to tell you, the Warriors had a really good game plan in game 3, but none of the young guys showed up to help out with that game plan. It was Jimmy Butler. It was Jonathan Kuminga. It was a bad game out of Draymond. It was another bad game out of Brandon Pajemski. Nothing but bad games so far from Moses Moody here. Is Gary Payton II going to do anything this postseason? If he doesn't do it tonight, I really don't need to see much more of him. I'm going to be honest with you. Go ahead and play Pat Spencer for all I care. This is gots to have it time. You know, must win. We like to throw around the phrase must win. Look, the Warriors can lose this game. They haven't been eliminated. But yeah, we all know the direction this entire series is pointed in, and is probably pointed in no matter what happens. You know, without Steph Curry, the Warriors cannot be who they are. It's just that simple. And I don't even know if he shows up for game 5. I don't even know if he could show up and play game 6. I'm assuming probably not. But you go ahead and be so bold as to win game 4 tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The series is even at 2, and it becomes a best 2 out of 3. And maybe Captain America shows up to save you. Maybe he does. I will say this. I thought Minnesota was going to be a lot tougher than they have shown. Minnesota has gotten a gift from the basketball gods with the elimination of Steph Curry over the course of several games in this series. And even though, you know, the Timberwolves have won both of these games, they haven't been dominant. They have not been you can't even expect to compete without Steph Curry. The Warriors are competing without Steph Curry. The problem is their competition is being undone not by the Minnesota Timberwolves effort, but by the lack of their own ability to get anything from their backcourt when Steph Curry's not playing, to get anything from a young collection of players who, you know, I understand it's year 2 for Pajemski. This ain't year 2 for Moses Moody, man. Moses Moody, I'm not going to put this whole postseason on you. You've never been handed that much responsibility in your career, and you're not even being handed it now. But do something other than be a absolute minus to the Warriors' efforts trying to win a basketball game. Moses Moody has helped the Minnesota Timberwolves more than he's helped the Warriors so far in this series. That's got to change. That's absolutely got to change. You know, you need someone to come out and cancel Jaden McDaniels, who's been really good in this series. He has been the Timberwolves' third best guy. Who is the Warriors' third best guy been? Haven't seen him. There has not been a third best guy to ever meet either Draymond or Jimmy and now Kuminga. Again, Trace Jackson Davis going from he's starting, he's playing well, to Coach DMP. I hate that extreme yo-yoing. It's my least favorite aspect of an otherwise pretty spectacular career from Steve Kerr. I do not like the way he's developed his rookies, and I think it's coming back to bite him and haunt him in this series over and over and over again. Now, if you tell me it's just not within these young men to get it done, well, then congratulations, you drafted the wrong guys. Let's see what they got tonight. Here's the thing. There are 2 things that I think we can all agree. That ain't just going to happen. If X happens, Y equals you lose. If this team can't find a 3-point shot, they're going to lose. They came pretty damn close to not playing with a 3 ball in game 3 of this series. If a handful, just a couple threes drop, they might have been able to take game 3. They might have been able to. But it just didn't happen. For role players to look that afraid to shoot at home, that's a major red flag. It just really is. Secondly, I'm just going to say Draymond Green, there is zero shot for the Warriors to play or to win in any game where we don't agree Draymond played well. If at the end of the game there's any argument over did Draymond have a good or bad game tonight, the Warriors are cooked. Absolutely cooked. Draymond's got to be A+ from here on out. Jimmy Butler needs to keep this level of aggressive, I'm trying to score. This isn't really who I am, but I am going to rise to the moment. And I'm going to tell you, too, this is a huge ask. Full game, Jimmy. Can Jimmy Butler give this team a full game? 48 minutes of basketball, because Golden State in Butler's 118 minutes in this series has outscored Minnesota by 10. In the 26 minutes he hasn't played, the Warriors have been outscored by 28. With Jimmy Butler, they can play and beat the Wolves. Without Jimmy Butler, the wheels come off. If you got to leave him out there for 48 minutes, and I understand that that is a poor investment in Game 5, but I don't want to hear a freaking word about Game 5 until you've won Game 4. We'll worry about Game 5 and tomorrow when the sun rises. Tonight, you cannot let the sun set on a loss. You just can't. Cannot happen. Cannot happen. So we'll see. Again, Draymond Green, it is time to park and stow all of your bullshit. Well, you know, there was a fan in Minnesota who might have said something racially charged. Jeez, I wonder if that was a moment of real we need to deal with it racism, or if Minnesota fans haven't figured out the easiest way to get under easy to fuck with skin. I'm not saying it's noble, but this is playoff warfare. I'm going to say things that hurt your feelings, and I don't really give a shit what the world thinks if I can help the Minnesota Timberwolves win by getting you distracted as you're warming up on an exercise bike because I said something that's racist. Like, tune that out. Draymond Green, you have one thing to do. One thing. That's it. One thing to do, Draymond Green. Only one. Serve Steph Curry the best way you can. Getting all up in arms about whatever was said. I don't give a shit. Your feelings, I don't get. Fuck your feelings. I'm normally not that guy. I'm not the fuck your feelings guy. But Draymond, in this instance, shut the fuck up. Go play great basketball. Don't say another word about anything other than we're winning tonight. That's all that matters. What can you do for Steph Curry? Stow your feelings. Stow your anger. Go play great basketball. Because without it, the Warriors have no chance. None. Absolutely none. Red Jet. By the way, happy birthday, Red Jet. She wants some snaps on that. I'll give it to you. Draymond's feelings are hurt. Who gives a shit? You had 2 points. What did you have last game? Get the fuck out of here. I was fired up for that. I really was. Draymond, you need to be better. You need to be better. You need to be better, and you can't let any player get underneath your skin. And if you let a fan get underneath your skin, you got thin skin, sweetheart. You got thin skin. Put on some headphones. Put on your earbuds. Some noise canceling. If you can be that rattled by some yahoo sitting in Minnesota. Come on. Keep Anthony Edwards to one half of basketball. Anthony Edwards has not had a full good game. He's had great second halves, but he has been a slow starter. Keeping Anthony Edwards off to his slow start is a big way the Warriors go about taking Game 4 at home. Gary Payton, again, if you don't show up tonight, I'm not sure I ever want to see you play basketball again. If you can't show up tonight, we got problems with you and your career and how useful you are. If Gary Payton can't step up, in Steph Curry's absence. Why are you even on the team, dude? You know, is this a little bit of a grit and grind Warriors team? They were gritting and grinding in game 3. They had a lead at half. It was a great game plan. It was a great game plan. Unfortunately, not enough Golden State Warriors were interested in executing that game plan. Quentin Post, I know you're a rookie. Gonna need something from you tonight, dude. Jesse Emery, Damon, the GOAT. I don't know about that, but I'm going to tell you what's what. And I'm going to be more real with you than most will ever dare to be. And I'm not here for a millisecond of Draymond's hurt feelings about nothing. You want to be the toughest dude in the NBA? Prove it. Thank you, Jesse. That is an incredibly generous super chat. And I will be filling up the ganja jar. And Red Jet, incredibly generous, on her birthday, giving me a gift. Thank you, Red Jet. Diatribe super chat, 3 snaps worthy, 2 neck rolls. That's what I'm giving you Zorros. There it is, Red Jet. Thank you. And happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. Pajemski. Brandon Pajemski makes a lot of good basketball plays, but when he is not scoring, those other good like here's the thing, Brandon, you got to be more than I picked up a charge. You know, that can't be where Brandon Pajemski's looking to contribute tonight. Congratulations. You got Julius Randle on a charging call. Great job. Mike Conley. Charge. It's got to be more than that, dude. It's got to be more than that. There's no more room for nuance in the box score. Guys got to show up and contribute. They need to fill up the box score. That's what this team needs. That's what this team needs. Peyton needs to foul out while being glued to Ant-Man's jersey as long as they let him. Agreed. This guy needs to be the disruptor, I'm out here to just mess with everyone. I got quick hands. I'm firing them. I'm looking for Andre Iguodala straight up gaffler steals. That's what he needs to be. That is what he needs to be. Same thing with Quentin Post. Same thing with Trace Jackson Davis. You got those fouls? Use them. Use them. Oh, but, also play smart defense, too, and just don't have a parade to the free throw line for the Minnesota Timberwolves either, even though they're not a very good free-throwing team. They're okay, I guess. That was the Rockets, who are terrible from the free throw line. Let me tell you about my man, Ike. He's got a delicious sandwich waiting for you at over 125 locations, I believe now, throughout the United States. An awful lot on the West Coast. And boy, if you are not on the West Coast, I hope you get an Ike's opening near you soon enough. I really do. Incredible sandwiches, something for everybody's taste. Even the vegans are welcome in there, and options aren't just there for you like performatively. He's got real good vegan option. I ate a legitimate vegan sandwich from this guy's restaurant. I'm not going to go order it again, but just curiosity got me to try it. It was freaking good. It really was. Get yourself to Ike's. If you're in charge of ordering lunch for your office, for your group, check out Ike's Catering. Download, if you would please, that Love Rewards program and start earning your way to free drinks, sandwiches, chips, good stuff. Great stuff goes down at the Dubliner, one of the best bars in San Francisco. Dubliner, West Portal, riding here on the Plus for the remainder of the year. They said, we want to sign back up, Damon. We love it, and I love them for it. Hey, look, they could have said, we're not interested anymore. I still would have loved the Dubliner. It's just a perfect bar. It's everything you need a bar to be. And if you don't believe me, go there to watch Game 4 tonight. If you can't make it into Chase Center, you're going to be happy that you did. Best Guinness poll in the city as well, if you don't mind me saying. And let me just also say, if you're making vacation plans for this summer, if you're thinking about camping, especially in the state of California, download campsitetonight.app. The campsitetonight.app was invented by my across the street neighbor. I love Mike Lee. left his job to pursue this passion project, and he's crushing it. It's hotels.com, but for campsites. Starting in the entire state of California, working up and down the West Coast as well. So if you are in California thinking about doing a little camping this summer, make sure you check that app out if you would please. And oh, by the way, here's what it actually looks like. That is the Campsite Tonight app. So please go ahead and download that if you would, my good friends. Okay. I missed the Ike's cutout. I knew ye well. Yeah, Ike got kneecapped by the boys. I feel Ike's legs went right out from underneath him. I mean, double femurs just snapped. I look at it this way. Whatever happened to Ike, thank God it only happened to the cardboard cutout version of Ike. Because if that had ever happened to Ike, it just would not have been good. So, yes, but look at it this way. No reason to miss Ike's cutout if you are getting a whole bunch of sandwiches and putting them in your mouth. Thank you very, very much. Vince Vargas, Spartan up. Yeah, go Sparty at all times. I feel good about it. Maybe he's talking about Draymond there. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Damon, I will download it just for the with the algorithm. I never camp, but anything for you. Thank you. See, that's what I promised my neighbor. I said, I will get a whole bunch of people to download your app. I don't know if I can get them to use it. I don't know how many campers I got in the chat, but everyone is so helpful and so wonderful in this little community that we've built that helping each other is something that we're always thinking about. So help my neighbor by downloading that. Thank you very, very much. You'll be happy that you did. Damon, the Matt Cain, still my favorite. It's a great sandwich, Gareth. Great sandwich. Irwin says, did Ozzy take out Ike? It was Ozzy and Jack in the chair. Chair went over right here. They were spinning each other in the chair. Ozzy was in the chair spinning. Jack was spinning Ozzy in the chair. Jack jumps into the chair. Chair goes over. Boom. Lands through Ike. And, at all times, my fatherhood is being judged by the miracle that both of their heads hit none of the metal shells that I have behind me. And instead of both boys needing stitches in the hospital, it was just the cardboard cutout broke. I'm telling you, the success of parenthood has to deal. So much of parenthood success comes with, thank God my kid didn't hit his head on that. It's amazing. Damon, you've done a wonderful job protecting your children. No, not really. They just keep on missing the sharp corners as they fall down all the time everywhere. That's what I'm dealing with for the most part. But thank you. They are the Bash Brothers, Red Jet. They really do. I mean, they're both young enough to where they're still innocent, but I can already tell that they wake up just to screw shit up. That portion of life is definitely coming at me. I know it. I absolutely know it. Again, as the Warriors are trying to win game 4, what's the other thing I do know? I know that they got to keep taking it right at Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is the weakest 4-time Defensive Player of the Year award winner in the history of all sports, every continent. There has never been a more decorated or least worthy of that decoration guy than maybe Rudy Gobert, winning 4 Defensive Players of the Year. Literally, the best way to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves is to walk up Rudy Gobert's chest and put it on him. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is check this out from my man, Sam Esfandiari of Light Years. He is, again, you can't argue with stats, right? Here it is. The Warriors rating, their offensive rating, their defensive rating, and the net rating. These are of all the Minnesota Timberwolves. And with the single worst net rating, got Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert. You want to score? Take it at Rudy. That's the trick. Take it at Rudy. Is the trick of having success against the Warriors ever take it at Draymond? Again, Draymond might drive us nuts sometimes and some days, but defensively, he drives the other team nuts. Rudy Gobert and the Minnesota Timberwolves got a little bit of a soft nature to them. Make it tough on them. Put it on them. Put it on them. Go after Rudy. So, just make it 2 out of 3 with a chance to see Steph play again. Excuse me. By the way, we're a long past sip of the day because this coffee was made earlier. And that's it. We're drinking grains here. I should have gone and filled it up, but I took a leak. There you go. Finished it. It's great coffee. Even the grains. It is desperate at home night in the NBA. It is desperate at home. The Warriors are desperate to win this home game. The New York Knicks up 2-1. Having won 2 games in Boston, they come right back to Madison Square Garden. Everything that I told you would happen in that series happened in Game 3. Boston comes roaring back. If Boston takes Game 4 tonight, the Knicks are cooked. Absolutely cooked. The pressure, the stress, the New York Knicks juju will just wipe the Knicks out of that playoff series. I really believe that. So there, I think, as much as you can be up 2-1 with a must win at home, the Knicks are. They got to go up 3-1 or the Celtics, I think, come back and take that series. And again, for the Warriors, look, the Knicks think that they can really bing bong this year. I don't know if the Warriors are going to bing bong this year, but you just want to see them make it a best 2 out of 3 with Steph Curry entering the picture again. If that's what it is, if Curry's hammy really lets him go in Game 5, 6, and 7, boy, I want bites at the apple in Games 5, 6, and 7. And let's be completely honest. If this were to be without Steph, then there's no going forward. There's no going forward. Steph is the lantern that lights the way. You will be lost in the dark without him. And even, again, having said that, the Warriors had the perfect Game 2 game plan. Game 3 game plan. They did. That was one of Steve Kerr's best coach games, unfortunately, for the Warriors. There was nobody to pick up the slack when Jimmy Butler wasn't in there. And there was no one to pick up the slack when Jimmy Butler was in there. It was Butler, Kuminga, and everyone else offensively was an embarrassment. Trace Jackson-Davis actually had some moments. So make it 2 or 3 with a chance to see Steph play again. What more could you want than that? Oy, oy, oy! That gets you oy, oy, oy. Absolutely, it does. Damon, I know you get your coffee down, but try left hand. Left hand coffee from Montauk, New York. All right. It was a really good song. What was it? Alt J, Left Hand Free. Eeny, meeny, meeny, miny, mo, wherever, no. Boom, boom, doom, 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 doom. See, I'm picking up. That's your coffee dependency right there. I'm picking up a cup I even know is freaking empty. Looking at the big board, the big bracket in the NBA, right? We got now Denver and OKC tied at 2-2. Thunder won a slugfest in Denver to avoid the 3-1 kiss of death. So they're still very much alive there in that series. The Pacers got the Cleveland Cavaliers to do everything but actually sign an unconditional surrender with a Game 4 walloping for the ages. The Cavaliers laid down and died. I'm still going to call it Market Square Arena. It's not Market Square Arena, but the Pacers were very good in Game 4. They looked unbeatable in Game 4. And again, the Celtics, they got that first game at MSG. They take Game 4. The Knicks are going to just gag a 2-0 road lead. That would be a great way to end up losing that series when it is all said and done. I will be coming to you live tonight from Chase Center. We will do a post-game show this evening. I will be trying to adjust the start time to let you all know when it goes live, but we're going to get that studio up and you can monitor it. Again, please hit notify. And whenever I go live, hopefully you'll be right there with me, but we'll do a little post game from inside of Chase Center tonight. Looking forward to doing that. And the Warriors, again, is it a must win? Well, they got another game if they lose, but that one becomes a must-win on the road in Minnesota in a game where you hope to get Steph Curry. You just don't want to face it. Buying more time. That's what this is all about. Buying more time. Buying more time. See if the Warriors can buy it. Yeah, I remember when the Pacers arena was called the Conseco Fieldhouse. Yeah, I was there for a minute. It was a bank or whatever it was there they got. If you're going to the game tonight, put your shirt on. Put your shirt on. I don't even need to ask Red Jet if she put her shirt on. She put her shirt on. She was there for game 3. Not her fault that they lost. All right. I told you this was going to be an NBA show. It is an NBA show. A couple of other things to let you know about is that the NBA lottery is this evening. Ping pong balls a-poppin'. Who gets the right to draft Cooper Flagg? We will find that out tonight. An even bigger story than that, though, is for apparently the first time in his career, Giannis has kind of opened the door to the concept of not being a Milwaukee Buck for the rest of his life. Shams reports that the two-time NBA MVP has not made any firm decision on his Bucks future after the franchise's third consecutive postseason exit in the first round. But for the first time in his career, Antetokounmpo is open-minded about exploring whether his best long-term fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. Steph Curry and Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to happen. If he is seriously leaving Milwaukee, the Warriors need to do everything but trading Steph Curry to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo. This guy is singularly remarkable. And when you want to talk about how would he play with Steph's gravity, open things up, oh my God. First of all, Antetokounmpo, Giannis is coming off one of the best seasons of his career. He averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 6.5 assists on 60% shooting over the course of 67 games. He is in the top 3 of MVP voting. So that's who he remains to be. It's his second consecutive season, by the way, averaging 30, 10, and 5 on 60% shooting, and no other player in NBA history has done that even more than once. He is, to efficient interior scoring, what Steph Curry really is to efficient perimeter scoring. The two of them together, oh my God. You just want to talk about right mindsets. Two guys who would be incredible teammates. Two guys who are just, phenomenal human beings outside of what they can do as athletes. I would love to see that get put together. You don't have to be much of a Warriors insider to want to see that come together. And I'll trade. I looked this up today. Neither Draymond Green nor Jimmy Butler has a no trade clause. Neither one of them. I'll give you Draymond, Jimmy, Pods, and a future unprotected first rounder right now. It's still probably not enough. Another team will make an even better offer than that. I mean, look, I'm giving you 2 future Hall of Famers, but they're old. I'll give you Pods to represent a young up-and-coming player. And again, a future unprotected first rounder. It would have to be even more than that. It would have to be even more than that to get Giannis, I would think. But at the same time, you can change. I just saw that you're allowed to trade, a young future or an older future Hall of Famer for the best young player in the world. That's what we just saw the Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers do. So maybe the Warriors can do something like that. Do they have anyone who is a Nico Harrison to work with in Milwaukee? But could you think about that? Again, I don't want to start talking about the offseason or the next season or trading away two guys who have to have monster games in game 4 for this to happen. But I had to share that with you because Giannis Antetokounmpo means I will gladly wrap up this year right now. If you could tell me, you can take your best shot going forward this postseason, or you wrap it up all right now. You have uninjured tradable assets in Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you might be able to get him. Yeah, I'd say you lose your next 2 games against Minnesota, make sure no one gets hurt, and do that. Again, I still don't think I put together the right deal to get that done. The Smitty, Giannis to the Lakers. That can't happen. Like, that shit cannot happen. So, I'm not worried about that. I think Giannis is too humble of a guy to even want that LA lifestyle. By the way, there's a part of me that if the Warriors were not or could not be involved, wants a guy like Giannis to stay in Milwaukee forever. That's what smaller markets need. Superstars to stay home. But I could also see how Giannis is saying, look, I've given it the office. This team has gotten worse around me. After I led you to a championship, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. And that means it's maybe time for me to get going. Again, doing what is best for you in your career feels a little selfish. And then until you realize that the minute it says to cut Giannis, Milwaukee will. You know? Always Blessed says, Steph will not let Draymond be traded. For Giannis, I'm sure he would. Look at it this way. For Giannis, all bets are off the table. All loyalties die when you talk about adding a player like that. And when you talk about who's important in this league, as important as Draymond is in many ways, Giannis is here. Draymond is underneath my carpet. Okay? I mean, come on. You know, I understand Steph's got loyalties to Draymond, but if we can replace this, if we can add Giannis Antetokounmpo, you trade the Bay Bridge to do that, much less Draymond Green. You know, I'm hearing like, the Lakers might come after Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant were to join Luka and LeBron in Los Angeles, I mean, you just got to put the "I'm a bitch" sign on him for the rest of his career. I mean, that he cannot do that. Kevin Durant has put himself in a situation where he now has to die on his own in Phoenix to even be respected at the end of his career. So, there you go. That's all the NBA news you need today. The bracket is fascinating. After a first-round thriller, the second-round series are at a huge crossroads. The Warriors at a huge crossroads. The New York Knicks, huge crossroads. Denver and OKC, probably your champion comes from that series. They're tied at 2. Can't ask for much more than that. We'll see what the Warriors got. How much fight do they got left in them? I'm looking forward to being there tonight. Should be an intense game. Should really be an intense game. Little bit of baseball, very little bit of baseball. As the Giants host the Diamondbacks, they're just happy to get out of Minnesota. They got swept by the Twins. Got stung by a 10th inning RBI single after losing 3-1 and 2-1 in the first 2 previous games in Minnesota. Justin Verlander, who's pitched pretty well. He's not been great, but he hasn't been bad either. And this is the deepest into any major league season before he's actually won a game. He's 0-2. So we'll see if Verlander can't get into the win column. Merrill Kelly. You know, I wouldn't say that he's a Giants killer, but he just always pitches against the Giants. It feels like whenever if they've got a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're going to face Merrill Kelly twice. It feels like this guy's always pitching against the Giants. And by the way, I looked it up. He's not a Giants killer. He's just always starting against it. This is his 20th career start against the Giants. He started against the Giants more than any other team in Major League Baseball. So my whole, it feels like they're playing Merrill Kelly a lot. Wasn't just a feeling. It's true. 9-game homestand. Got to make something happen here. Got to wake up these bats a little bit. Arizona, the Oakland A's will be coming in from West Sacramento, and the Kansas City Royals are coming to town on this 9-game homer. By the way, did you see that the Rockies finally took old Bud Black out behind Coors Field and put him out of his misery? That's probably a dog that should have been put down a while ago. But a 21-0 loss to the Rockies over the weekend was apparently event horizon for Bud Black, and he was not coming back from that trip to the black hole. That was a 21-0 loss to the Padres. Rockies got beat up, and Bud Black, thanks for coming. They had fired Hensley Mullins as their hitting instructor. Now they have fired Bud Black, and there's really nothing left to do other than admit the family that runs this team is terrible, and the general manager ain't much better. You could have Joe Torre. You could have Bruce Bochy managing the Colorado Rockies right now, and you will be flirting with one of the worst seasons that any major league team has ever produced, because that's who they are. They suck. Really, really bad. So there you go. That is all the show you need coming from San Francisco today. Yes, Niners had themselves a little rookie mini camp over the weekend. They are 15 days away from OTAs officially starting. Hopefully Brock's contract is done in the next 2 weeks. We've been talking about that so much, I don't even feel a need to talk about it right here, right now. We all know what the score is there, so settle it. And I guess it's officially time for us to go to Today in History. Are you ready? As you know, we always start with happy birthdays. We got a very special happy birthday right here at home with Red Jet, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Red Jet. Happy birthday to my man, Carl Buszczyk. Carl is such a huge help to what I'm doing here on the Plus. He is a guiding hand and eye, and keeps track of subjects and tells me where highlights are. He's basically an unbelievable, valuable friend and asset and pal that has done an incredible bit of work for us here on the Plus. Thank you, Carl. Thank you so much. Not Matt's birthday, but Matt, you've been so incredibly helpful too. Matt Maniego. Creative West. This team's been fantastic, but not his birthday. I'll tell you whose birthday it is. Tony Hawk. Happy 57th birthday, Tony Hawk. Happy 63rd birthday to look at it this way. Charlie Sheen is the loud, annoying brother, and the quiet, dignified one is Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez turning 63 today. Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames is turning 66 today. Do you realize that Ving Rhames has been playing Marcellus Wallace in every movie he's been in since Pulp Fiction? All Ving Rhames does is talk calmly in a monotone voice in every movie he's in since Pulp Fiction. He's just recreating Marcellus Wallace in every sentence he's uttered since being Marcellus Wallace. Now, he's great at that character. It's just not a lot of range there for old Ving. Great name, though, right? Ving. Not enough Vings in the world. Happy 66th birthday to Ving Rhames. Happy 59th birthday to everyone's favorite broken Baldwin, Stephen Baldwin. Stephen Baldwin, 59 years old. He's still great in The Usual Suspects. He's really good in Usual Suspects. I don't know what other movies he's been in. I'm not watching, and neither are you, apparently. By the way, 3 would have been birthdays. We don't do the who would have been birthdays, but I'll say this. Would have been a happy birthday to George Carlin, who is arguably one of the 5 most important comedians who's ever lived. Happy birthday to Burt Bacharach, the ultimate piano crooner. And happy birthday to Mr. Malaprop himself, Hall of Famer Yogi Berra would have turned 100 today. Yogi Berra. So 3 big, not around here, but would have been birthdays. Okay. Historical shit that happened on May 12th. May 12th, 1846, the Donner Party left Independence, Missouri for California. They would arrive with fewer members than they started with. Some of them died along the way. It was brutal. Some of them were eaten along the way at Donner Pass. If you've ever been up to Tahoe, you've been driving past Donner Pass, named for the Donner Party, who got lost in a blizzard. And even though we're just a few miles away from where they were going, we're so trapped and snowbound that they had to resort to cannibalism. It's not a story for the kids, but boy, it's an interesting part of California. So today, the Donner Party left Independence. And if you were there in 1864, you would have leaned in and told them, pack a little more food. A few granola bars, maybe, along the way. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. Today, in 1937, King George VI of the United Kingdom was crowned following the abdication of Edward VIII. King George VI would go on to give us the daughter Elizabeth, who became Queen Elizabeth. So there you go. Big moment for royalty right there in the late 30s. Today in 1972, speaking of the Brits and what they've really given us, they've given us royalty, which people used to be enamored by. No one's that impressed anymore. I think people look at it, the whole thing, and just go, this is weird. What are you doing, royalty? Anyways, British rock and roll royalty, still with us too. Today, the Rolling Stones released Exile on Main Street in 1972. I mean, we're talking about Tumbling Dice, Torn and Frayed, Loving Cup, Casino Boogie, Ventilator Blues. It's a monster double album. Monster. So happy birthday today in 1972 to Exile on Main Street. Today in 1993 was the day you said goodbye to Kevin Arnold and Winnie Cooper, and the dorky friend who a lot of people said, did you know that he grew up to become Marilyn Manson? No, he did not. But the Wonder Years, one of the most precious, fantastic series in my lifetime. The Wonder Years ended today. I believe it was Kevin Arnold moving out of suburbia, right? What happened? Do you realize that the Wonder Years was as far back in time as because it happened again in the mid 90s, early 90s. So when the Wonder Years came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was about growing up in the 60s. It would be the equivalent now if the Wonder Years came out today, with it just looking so fondly back on the early 90s. That's how quick time flies. That is how quick time flies. By the way, Winnie Cooper, she became like a scientist, right? Today in 1995, As the World Turns aired its 10,000th episode. That's a lot of episodic television, 10,000 episodes. Just so you know, every day we come to together here at 11 a.m. on YouTube, West Coast time. I count those shows. I count every show I do, but specifically what I call Damon Bruce Plus shows that happen live at 11 a.m. We've officially now done 482 of them. How about that? We're almost at 500 of these. We'll be at 500 of these 11 a.m. get-togethers here on YouTube, West Coast time. In just a little bit. It'll be a while before we get to 10,000. It will be a long time, but that's a lot. And here's where we go. Today, I will wrap up with this. As it was, who chooses? Today is, chocolate sundae day, or today is banana day, or today is root beer float day. Today is Limerick Day. It's Limerick Day. There once was a man from Nantucket, and then everything you ever heard after that, it's Limerick Day. Now, limericks are very defined. Like when I was a little kid, I heard Joe Patmos say something in like the 8th grade, and that day I memorized it. And that was, Marianne Burns is the queen of all the acrobats. She can do tricks that'll give a cat a fix. She can chew green beans from a fundamental orphanage. She's the kind of girl that's gonna marry me. She can swim, suck, fart, fuck, roll a barrel, drive a truck. She's the kind of girl that's gonna marry me. I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard when I was in 8th grade. I memorized that immediately. I tongue-tied myself over it. Not a limerick, though. Not a limerick. In case you need to know what a limerick is a 5 lines. And here's a little limerick to let you know what a limerick is. A limerick's not hard to define, but it needs to do more than just rhyme. It's the meter that matters, the pitter and patters, and if not, you're just wasting my time. That's a limerick. That's a limerick. An Argentine gaucho named Bruno said, humping is one thing I do know. A woman is fine and a sheep is divine, but a llama is numero uno. Yes, I looked up dirty lyrics for you to entertain you with here on the way out. Are you ready? By the way, Michelle Haberman is like, come on. Can we pound it? Yes.
Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it.
Marianne Burns is the queen of all the acrobats. She can do tricks that'll give a cat a fix. She can chew green beans from a fundamental orphanage. She's the kind of girl that's going to marry me. She can swim, roll a barrel, drive a truck. She's the kind of girl that's going to marry me. I used to be better at that. I'm a little out of practice. Again, not a limerick, though. You want a limerick? There once was a young lady named Sally who enjoyed the occasional dally. She sat on a lap of a well-endowed chap and said, "Sir, you're right up my alley." That's good. That's good. Your final limerick. First of all, I should wrap up the show with one more. Thanks to Ike's. Thanks to the Dubliner. Thanks to campsitetonight.app. Download that app and check it out. Download that Ike Love Rewards app. There is no app for the Dubliner. Just go have a great beer and a cocktail at the Dubliner West Portal. You want to go. Again, what do you like about the bar? No app, just a bar. I like that. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. Joe Schmo. Eat at Ike's, not the Donner Party. Yeah, yes. Very good. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, how are we doing on the like? Well, only 37 likes today. Come on, folks. That ain't a lot. That ain't a lot. We're giving you dirty limericks. I'm going to give you the dirtiest limerick that I found on the way out here. So thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's almost gone. But first, he wants you to know. Are you ready for this? We're leaving you with this. There once was a young lady from Wheeling who said she had no sexual feeling till a young man named Boris touched her clitoris. She had to be scraped off the ceiling. Thanks for watching.